I think it's the opportunity to start having conversations with technology rather than transactions. And it sounds a bit like talking to a robot, but most of when we access, in an educational setting, we access technology, it's to check a book reservation, do some work, find some facts, find out what my timetable is, etc. Whereas when we talk to people, we tend to have more of a conversation, and the stuff around the edges, it's not so transactional. So drilling down a bit, I think there's a very clear benefit in terms of accessibility. So for people who are sight or sort of motor system impaired, then voice just makes access to education or aspects of education through technology a lot more straightforward, and again a lot richer. I think one of the major ways it does that is by reducing friction. So if I'm, as a student, need to access my timetable, some learning resources, my exam grades, my student record, my fees, my library books, etc. I've got to log in. I've got to know my way around various menus and hierarchies and systems, and that's a pain. If I can just say, ask for what I want, and all that complexity is abstracted away from me, then it just reduces friction. So it makes me more productive, and it makes the information resources that I access, it makes it more likely that I will find and use those. I won't give up, I won't find it too hard, but also it just to be a more pleasant experience. And so hopefully when students finish being full-time students, their experience of having an education will be more positive, and that will be more encouraging for them to carry on learning later in their lives as well. Our game is a multiplayer game. It's designed to be played by young people around the globe, in different countries, different cultures, different climates, and I think hearing other people's voices is a different experience than just sort of seeing that text on a screen, or even a video, being able to kind of speak to them in almost real time. It's just a richer experience, and helps people appreciate other languages, other cultures, and other life experiences that are completely outside what they're used to having. In addition to students, that information can be made available to staff, but also I think for parents and carers as well. So even on an Alexa, I as a parent, I could be able to go to my college, my sons or daughters' college, and find out what's happening in their lives. It's obviously appropriate to what I should be able to learn about, with the appropriate controls. And that highlights that there's nothing fundamentally different about voice, and voice is another channel, another user, and it's most powerful when it's combined with others. But I think it just gives it does reduce that friction, and it gives another impetus to say, well, actually, by reducing the friction, we add the value, we create more value in making that information that's in the back-end systems available, so it makes that investment worthwhile. We measure the impact of voice by the level, the number of engagements, the duration of those engagements. We can control for what would an engagement look like if it was screen-based, what would it look like if it was voice-based. Now, simply adding duration isn't necessarily going to give you a true measure of the difference in impact between screen and voice, but combined with other variables, then it can provide insight into that impact. Obviously, as learners progress through the game, it's a voice-based game. So as they progress through those tasks and missions, then we have a very clear metric for the impact of the game. EdTech generally is often about kind of removing barriers, removing barriers of access to information, and removing those barriers of time and space. So if you can make learning accessible anytime, any place, personalized and optimized for an individual, then that technology is helping ultimately, create a more educated, and therefore, I think we all believe, a better world. We live in a less stable world, and so the ability to be able to access education as and when you need it and where you need it is more vital. It could be used in the corporate space for continuing professional development and for postgraduate studies, etc. Also, even within the game, it can be extended. The game is very modular. Obviously, in the time we've had to develop the game so far, we're starting at the kind of the base level with foundational knowledge, but that knowledge can be extended both in depth and broadened in range, and we can add new modules in, and so those modules can then inform people on climate change, outside of the formal education system. And I think that's a really important thing. I would not like to think that the people are only going to be interested in climate change when they're enrolled at a college or university. It should be something that is there for life. So absolutely, as our understanding of the whys and whats and of climate change and what we can do about it increases and develops as it is continuously, then we want our platform to be reflecting that and informing people throughout their lives as to how they can get involved in helping to mitigate the worst effects of climate change.